Hey, happy Tuesday. Welcome to Lunchtime Empowerment Talks with Dr. Vaughn. I am Dr. Shavonda Whitehead. And listen, it's always my privilege, my honor, and my pleasure to join you right here every Tuesday at 1 p.m. So come on in the room. As you're coming in the room, say hello. Come on, as you're coming in the room, say hello. I hope that your Tuesday is off to an amazing start thus far. God has given us an amazing topic to talk about tonight: when God rearranges your life. Oh, hey, Latanya. Hey, daughter girl, how are you? Hey, listen, the topic today, listen, when God rearranges your life. Hey, Melissa. Hey, friend. I don't know about you, but I am in a season where God is rearranging what I thought would be forever, what I thought was normal. He's stretching, he's pruning, he's pressing. Is anybody else that's watching in some of the same seasons that I am in? You're in seasons where you thought you knew everything, and now God is like doing a lot of shifting and a lot of moving and everything. Well, I came by to talk to you today. To help you understand this whole rearrangement of how God is shifting and how God is pressing and how God is. Listen, Elder Neil, it is real. It's real. It's real. Hey, my sister is on. Hey, Lisa, I love you. Listen, I literally, and sometimes I have a scripture, sometimes I don't, but there are multiple scriptures that support this. One of the scriptures is where it talks about Abraham. It's talking about get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred and from thy father's house and go to a land that I will show you. Then we know that there is Romans 8:28, for all things work together for the good of them that love God. But here it is. I want to help some people understand. Sometimes alignment in your life looks like disruption. Can I help you? Some of us, God is aligning our lives, and it feels like there's a disruption going on. It feels like that it's chaos. It feels like there's a lot of moving parts. There are seasons where God blesses your life by adding, but can I help you? There are also seasons of your life where God blesses you by rearranging. God blesses you by moving stuff. By God blesses you by removing stuff. And if we are not careful, we will only celebrate when God adds, and we will begin to question when God begins to move or remove something. But how many of you understand that God knows everything? So even when God removes something, we have to learn how to celebrate that too, because obviously when God is removing something, he's preparing you for something greater, because he has to make room for more. Somebody put in the comment section, God is making room for more. I'm already talking. Tell somebody, put in the comment section, God is making room for more. Because we shout over the open doors, but what happens when God closes it? Come on. We celebrate the new connection, but what happens when God allows an old connection to change? We celebrate the promotion, but what happens when the promotion requires repositioning or requires you moving to a different environment? Sometimes we don't understand what we're really asking for. We're asking God for more. We're asking God for better. We're asking God for new. And we don't really understand that new, better, and more sometimes means that you got to leave the old. Sometimes it means that rearrangement has to happen. Sometimes it means that God has to stretch you. Sometimes it means that God has to press you. Hey, Nella. Sometimes it means that God has to move you beyond your capacity. Sometimes it means God got to shake up your world. Come on, because alignment requires adjustment. Because sometimes alignment requires adjustment. You cannot ask God to align your life and then demand everything to remain the same. I'm trying to help somebody. You cannot ask God, realign my life, but then you want everything to stay the same. Sometimes God has to move some things. Sometimes God has to end some things. Sometimes God has to expose some things. I'm trying to help somebody. Sometimes God has to disconnect some things. Sometimes God has to disrupt some things. Sometimes God has to make you uncomfortable in places you used to feel comfortable. Can I say it again? Sometimes God has to make you uncomfortable in places you used to feel comfortable. Not because he's trying to destroy you, not because he's punishing you, not because you're in a bad season, but because he's rearranging you to give you more. I came to speak to somebody during this empowerment to say, that's asking, God, what's happening? God, why don't I fit in anymore? God, why am I so uncomfortable? Why does it feel like the doors are closing? Why does it feel like the relationships is shifting? Why does it feel like I'm being pulled toward a different direction? Why does it feel like it seems like it's one thing after another? Maybe the answer isn't that something's wrong. Can I help you? Maybe it's the fact that God is rearranging your life exactly the way you asked him to. Maybe God is rearranging your life in such a way that it requires different configuration. Oh God, because I want to prophetically speak over someone today. The rearrangement happening in your life is not random. It's not random. He is not experimenting with your destiny. I'm trying to help you. He is not trying to figure out what he's going to do with you. Jeremiah 29:11 says, he reminds us that God knows the thoughts he thinks toward us. Come on here. God already sees what you cannot see. He sees the door ahead. He sees the opportunity ahead. He sees the assignment ahead. But he also sees the people connected to the next season. He sees the capacity you're going to need for the next season. He sees the version of you that you must be. Somebody put in the comment section, God, make me ready. He sees the version of you you need to be for the next season. God, make me ready. He sees the version of you you need to be for the next season. Because God sees where you're going, sometimes he starts rearranging you where you are. I'm going to say it again. Because God sees where you're going, he will start rearranging where you are. I'm going to say it one more time. Because God sees where you're going, God will start rearranging where you are. Oh, that was good to me. That might not have been good to nobody else, but that was good to me. And it's difficult because some of us interpret comfort as confirmation. Oh, it's about to get. Some of us interpret comfort as confirmation. If it's comfortable, God must be in it. If it's easy, God must be in it. If everybody agrees with me, God must be in it. If nothing changes, God must be in it. But throughout the scripture, God repeatedly called people into unfamiliar territory. Come on here. He told Abraham, leave. He told Moses, go back. He told Joshua, cross over. He told Peter, step out. He told the disciples, follow me. God's instructions frequently require movement. God's instructions frequently require movement. And maybe the word for somebody today is simply move. I dare somebody put that in the comment section. Move. It's time for me to move. Move. Maybe that's your word for the day. It's time for me to move. Move mentally. Move emotionally. Move spiritually. Move strategically. Move relationally. Move financially. Move from the mindset that worked in your last season. Move from the habits that kept you alive but couldn't take you forward. Move from the version of yourself that only made you survive. Pivot, shift, and make the move. Somebody just say move, move. Because you cannot enter a rearranged season with an unwillingness to move. You cannot enter a rearranged season with an unwillingness to move. Hey, Dr. Angela, how are you? Here's number one. God will disrupt your comfort to realign your destiny. God will disrupt your comfort to realign your destiny. I'm trying to talk to somebody today. God will disrupt your comfort to realign your destiny. Here it is, Genesis 12:1. He tells Abraham, get thee out of thy country and go unto a land I will show you. Here's the thing. Abraham didn't even know. Notice what God does with Abraham. He gives Abraham an instruction before he gives Abraham the details. Oh, some of y'all don't like that. He gives Abraham an instruction before he gives Abraham the details. He says, get out of thy country and go into a land I will show you. You don't even know where you're going, Abraham. I just want you to get up and go. Essentially, God essentially saying, leave what you know and I will show you where you're going. Leave what you know and I'll show you where you're going. Now, that will challenge anybody who likes the details. And that's probably almost all of us on here. Now, because God will, we will want to say to God, God, what's the address? What's the timeline? who gonna be there, how much money I need, what's gonna happen when I get there. Oh, come on here. But God is saying, will you move first? Yes, sis, move by faith. God is asking you, will you move first? If you'll move first, I'll reveal while you're moving. God is saying to someone today, if you'll move first, I'll reveal while you're moving. Oh, come on here. Come here, leper. They were healed as they what? As they went. Some healing you ain't going to get till you start moving. Some instructions you're not going to get till you start moving. Some things you're not going to receive until you start moving. Abraham had to leave familiarity before he could experience fulfillment. Come. Let me say it again. Abraham had to leave familiarity before he can receive fulfillment. That's important because sometimes the greatest obstacle between you and what's next isn't the enemy. Newsflash, it's not the enemy. Sometimes it's your attachment to what's familiar. It's your attachment to what's familiar. It's your attachment to what's familiar. Familiar people, familiar routines, familiar environments, familiar ways of thinking, familiar habits, familiar patterns, even familiar dysfunction. Oh, come on. If you haven't already done so, like and share this, because we can become so accustomed to something that we confuse familiarity with destiny. But here it is. God told Abraham, you cannot stay here and become who I've called you to be. Somebody need to put in the comment section, I can't stay here. You cannot stay here and become who I've called you to be. Sometimes environments were perfect for the version of you that entered the environment. Oh God, I'm going to say it again. Sometimes the environments were perfect for the version of you that entered the environment. But you've grown. You've changed. You've healed. You've matured. You've learned. You've elevated. You've emerged. And now the environment that once held you is beginning to restrict you. Somebody put in the comment section, it's time for me to break loose. Come on here. It's time for me to break loose. That's why you're uncomfortable. That's why something feels different. That's why you're restless. That's why that's why what you were used to satisfy you, it don't satisfy you anymore. Maybe nothing is wrong with you. You just outgrown where you were. Oh God. There are times when discomfort becomes God's announcement. Oh, I'm about to say it again. Sometimes discomfort becomes God's announcement. What is he trying to announce, Dr. Vaughn? It's time to prepare to move. And I don't just mean geographically. Hear me in the Holy Ghost. I don't mean just geographically. Sometimes we gotta make this sure. Sometimes the move is internal. Can I help you? Sometimes the move is internal. God may be asking some of you to move from fear to faith. He may be asking you to move from insecurity to confidence. He may be asking you to move from survival to purpose. He may be asking you to move from people pleasing to obedience to his will. He may be asking you to move from hiding to visibility. He may be asking you to move from dependence to maturity. He may be asking you to move from comfort to calling. You keep saying, God, make me comfortable again. And God is saying, I'm not trying to make you comfortable. I'm trying to make you ready. Somebody put in the comment section, God, make me ready. God, make me ready. God, make me ready. Some of you are about to realize that the disruption that you've been fighting is actually your divine realignment. It's your divine realignment. Everything, your thought is everything falling apart. And heaven is saying, no, everything is falling in its proper place. So stop trying to reconstruct what God is already dismantling. Can I help you? Stop trying to reopen what God has already closed. Stop begging people to remain who have fulfilled their assignment. Oh, let me say it again. Stop begging people to remain who have already fulfilled their assignment. Stop forcing yourself back into environments God has made uncomfortable on purpose. Your discomfort may be evidence that your season has changed. Somebody put in the comment section, it's time for me to pivot and make the shift. It's time for me to pivot and make the shift. It's time for me to pivot and make the shift. It's time for me to pivot and make the shift. Here's number 2. Come on, here's number 2. Necessary endings make room for divine beginnings. Necessary endings make room for divine beginnings. Isaiah 43:18-19 says, this is one of my favorite scriptures. Behold, remember not the former things. Behold, I do a new thing. That's why it says it's a divine setup. Behold, remember not the former things. Behold, I do a what? New thing. Here's one of the hardest truths about growth. Here's one of the hardest truths about growth. New beginnings often require necessary endings. We love to shout and talk about new beginnings. We shout about it. Come on here. This number, the 8th month. I love it. It's my birthday month. I love being born in the 8th month. Listen, we want to shout. As soon as the month of August come in, we talk about new. We want to shout because it's new season, new doors, new opportunities, new relationships, new blessings. But nobody wants to talk about what must end for new to begin. Oh, don't nobody want to talk about that. Sometimes we are asking God, where is new? And God is asking, why are you still holding on to the old? Uh-oh. We are asking God, where is my new? And God is saying, you won't release the old for me to give you the new. Because your hands cannot fully embrace what's next while desperately gripping what's over. I'm going to say it again. Your hands cannot fully embrace what's next while desperately gripping what's over. There are things that weren't bad. This is what I'm trying to help y'all. It don't mean it was bad. Stop demonizing things. It don't mean it was bad. Things are not always bad. Now, some things were. Now, don't get me wrong. Some things were. But everything wasn't. Some things were just expired. And everything that expires does not have to become evil. It just means that the season has ended. That's maturity. Sometimes relationships change. Sometimes assignments change. Sometimes responsibilities change. Priorities change. Your capacity changes. Your appetite changes. Your conviction changes. Your boundary changes. One of the greatest signs of spiritual maturity is knowing how to honor what was while still releasing it when God says it's over. Somebody put in a comment section, it's time to release it. It's time to release it. It's time to release it. You don't have to demonize the old season to embrace a new one. I'm trying to help you. You don't have to demonize an old season to embrace a new one. You don't have to demonize an old season to embrace a new one. You can say, thank you, God, for what it taught me. Thank you for how it served me. Thank you for what I learned. But I now recognize it's over and you've moved me to now. Come on here. Joseph taught us this. Joseph's life was constantly being rearranged. The coat, the pit, Potiphar's house, the prison, the palace, every environment changed. But here's what's powerful. Joseph's purpose didn't change even when the environment did. The pit couldn't cancel it. Potiphar's house couldn't cancel it. The false accusations couldn't cancel it. The prison couldn't cancel it because God had ordained something concerning his life. Changing circumstances don't cancel divine purpose. Somebody needs to hear that. Changing circumstances do not cancel your divine purpose. Just because things change doesn't mean God's promise has changed. Oh my God. I'm going to say it again. Just because things change, people change, planes change, routes change, does not mean God's promise or the destination has changed. Sometimes God will reroute you without revoking what he promised. Because here's the thing. Somebody sometimes we will grieve something. We will grieve something that God has already given us permission to release. We will find ourselves grieving it, trying to understand why it can't remain, trying to understand why we can't hold on, trying to understand why the shift is happening. And God is saying, I just need you to release it so we can keep going. Your next season doesn't require you understanding. It doesn't require your understanding. It requires your obedience. Hey, Dr. Marnay, how are you? It doesn't require you to understand everything. This next season requires you just to obey. It requires your obedience. It requires your obedience. Savior God, I love you today. Yes, sis, I love how God works. It requires your obedience. So I'm trying to encourage somebody. Release it, bless it, learn from it, and keep moving. Release it, bless it, learn from it, and keep moving. Release it, bless it, learn from it, and keep moving. Because some endings weren't punishment, they were permission. Somebody put in the comment section, I give myself permission to move. I give myself permission to move. It was permission to do what, Dr. Vaughn? Permission to evolve, permission to heal, permission to rebuild, permission to rediscover yourself, permission to become, permission to step into what God has been preparing all along. So stop standing at the tomb of something God already called finish. Oh, can I say it one more time? Stop standing at the tomb of something God already called finish. There is life ahead of you. It's time to pivot and make the shift. Here's number three. Don't confuse repositioning with rejection. Oh, God. Can I say it again? Don't confuse repositioning with rejection. Don't confuse repositioning with rejection. This is where Joseph's story becomes powerful. Imagine being Joseph. Some of us wouldn't have made it. Imagine being Joseph. You receive a dream from God. Then your life seems to move into the exact opposite direction. God showed you elevation, but you're thrown into a pit. God showed you influence, but you're sold into slavery. God showed you significance, but you're falsely accused. God showed you authority, but then you're sitting in prison. God, what's happening here? Have you ever had a season where your current circumstances look nothing like what God said? I'll wait. I can't hear nobody. Have you ever had a season where your current circumstances look nothing like what God said? This is where faith gets tested. This is where your faith gets tested. Because sometimes the journey toward the promise looks like you're moving further away from the promise. I'm going to say it again. Sometimes the journey toward the promise looks like you're moving further away from the promise. But here's the revelation. Can I help you? Here's the revelation. Every place Joseph landed developed something he needed for where he was going. Come. Let me say it again. Every place that Joseph landed developed something in him he needed for where he was going. I'm going to say it again. Every place that Joseph landed developed something in him he was going to need for where he was going. Hey, sis, how are you? Every place that he landed. Can I prove it to you? The pit taught Joseph endurance. Potiphar's house taught Joseph stewardship. The prison taught Joseph leadership under pressure. The palace revealed why the previous seasons mattered. Oh, come on. Can I rewind that and tell you again? The pit taught Joseph how to endure. Potiphar's house taught Joseph stewardship. The prison taught Joseph how to lead under pressure. So that when he got to the palace, it was revealed that all those previous seasons, why he needed those tools once he became ruler over all things. So what looked like random rearrangement was actually divine development. Oh, God. Somebody needs to say, God, thank you for divine development. What actually looks like random rearrangement was actually divine development. So maybe you haven't been rejected. Can I challenge you? Maybe you haven't been rejected. Maybe you've been repositioned. Maybe you haven't been forgotten. Maybe you've just been developed. Maybe God isn't withholding something from you. Maybe he's just preparing you to carry something different. Because when we often ask God when, God is asking us, are we actually ready? My God. And readiness isn't just gifting. Can I help you? Being ready is not about having a gift. Being ready is not about having a gift. Readiness means that my character is ready. Readiness means I got emotional maturity. Readiness means I got discipline. Readiness means I got discernment. Readiness means I got boundaries. Readiness means I got stewardship. Readiness is knowing who you are when nobody applauds. Come. Can I say it again? Readiness means knowing who you are when nobody applauds. Can you still keep building if nobody likes the post? Can you still keep building when nobody buys what you have? Can you still keep declaring what God said if it seems like nobody hears you? Can you still be who God says you are when it seems like nobody applauds you? That's readiness. Because God doesn't only prepare the blessing, God prepares you for the blessing. Somebody need to put in the comment section, God prepared me for the blessing. Prepare me for the blessing. Prepare me for the blessing. Because sometimes that preparation looks like rearrangement. So can I help you? Don't mislabel your season. I came to talk to those people that's mislabeling your season. Don't mislabel your season. Be careful what you call failure. Oh God. Be careful what you call rejection. Be careful what you call delay. Be careful what you call loss, because you may be naming something according to how you feel instead of according to what God is doing through it. Let me say it again. Because you may be naming something according to how you feel instead of according to what God is doing through it. The pit felt like rejection, but it was really repositioning. The prison felt like delay, but it was actually development. The palace revealed the purpose. There are some things you won't understand until you arrive. I'm going to say it again. There are some things you will not understand. It will not make sense until you arrive. But when you arrive, you're going to look back and say, now I understand why God wouldn't let me stay there. Now I understand why God wouldn't let me hold on to it. Now I understand why the door had to close. Now I understand why I couldn't sit at the table. Now I understand why the connection had to end. Now I understand why I couldn't go there. Now I understand why I couldn't be invited to the event. Now I understand why these people did have to walk away. Now I understand why the opportunity didn't work. Now I understand why God had to make me uncomfortable. Because what felt like rejection was actually divine repositioning. Here's number 4, so I don't hold you too long. Here's number 4. When God shifts your season, you have to shift with it. Let me say it again. When God shifts your season, you have to shift with it. Ecclesiastes 3:1. We quote it all the time, but we don't live it. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Here's the danger. Y'all ready? Here's the danger. God can shift the season while you're still operating according to the previous one. Ooh, what? Hello? What? God can shift the season while you're still operating according to the previous one. And here's where the frustration begins. Here's where the frustration begins. Because you're trying to get yesterday's strategy to produce today's results. Oh, come on here. I'm going to say it again. You're trying to get yesterday's strategy to produce today's results. But new seasons often require new strategy. Somebody put in the comment section, God, give me new strategy. God, give me new strategy. What worked before may not work now. How you prayed before may need to deepen. How you led before, you may need to mature. How you managed your time before, it may need to change. How accessible you were to people, you may need to create some new boundaries. How you handled money before, you may need to create a greater discipline. How you viewed yourself, oh, come on here, lean on in. How you viewed yourself before must change. Can I say it again? How you viewed yourself before must change. Why, Dr. Vaughn? Because your next season cannot be sustained by your previous capacity. I'm going to say it one more time. Jesus, help me today. Your next season cannot be sustained by your previous capacity. I'm going to say it one more time. Your next season cannot be sustained by your previous capacity. God is not just shifting what's around you. He is shifting what's in you. This is the real pivot. This is the real pivot. This is the real pivot. Melissa, this is the real pivot. This is the real pivot. Sometimes we think the pivot means changing direction. Can I help you? Sometimes we think the pivot means changing direction, but spiritually, the pivoting can mean changing your posture. Pivoting can mean changing your response. Oh, Dr. Neil, pivoting, Elder Neil, pivoting can mean changing your perspective. Oh, pivoting can mean changing your strategy. Pivoting can mean changing your boundaries. Pivoting can mean changing your expectations. Pivoting can mean changing how you show up. Somebody put in the comment section, God, help me pivot. Help me pivot. There are moments when God says, I don't need you to try harder. I need you to move differently. Come on here. I'm trying to help a little bit. God is saying, I don't need you to try harder. I need you to move differently. I don't need you to try harder. I need you to move differently. You've been pushing, God says pivot. You've been forcing, God says pivot. You've been chasing, God says pivot. You've been trying to revive something that is finished, God says pivot. You've been asking me to restore an old configuration, God says pivot. I'm trying to give you something new. Somebody put in the comment section, God, help me to pivot. God, help me to pivot. God, help me to pivot. So when things start rearranging, you got to start asking God, what do I need to release? What do I need to learn? I don't want to waste the transition. What are you asking me to become, God? Because every level demands a new capacity. Where are you asking me to move, God? And then here's the thing. When you ask God, where are you asking me to move, God? When he answers, move. Not recklessly, not emotionally, not impulsively, but obediently. Because delayed obedience can keep you emotionally attached to a season that God has already ended. Yes, that's right, Kiana, wasting no season. The shift is bigger than your circumstances. The shift is bigger than your circumstances. The shift is bigger than you. Can I help you? The shift is bigger than you. So listen to me. Hear me clearly. Maybe God isn't just changing your circumstances. Can I help you? Maybe God isn't just changing your circumstances. Maybe he's changing your capacity. Maybe he's changing your appetite. Maybe he's changing your circle. Maybe he's changing your priorities. Maybe he's changing your perspectives. Maybe he's giving you new strategy. Maybe he's changing what you tolerate. Maybe he's changing what you desire. Maybe he's changing how you see and view yourself. Because before God changes what you carry, he will often change the person carrying it. Oh, Lord, can I say that one more time? Because that was good to me. Before God changes what you carry, he will oftentimes change the person carrying it. I'm going to say it one more time. Before God changes what you carry, he will oftentimes change the person carrying it. That's why you can't respond to everything like the old you. The old you would chase it. The new you pray. The old you would beg. The new you releases. The old you would take it personal. The new you recognizes divine redirection. The old you would have stayed because you felt scared. The new you said, if God is moving, I'm moving too. So here it is, so I can let you go. I want to speak this over each and every one of you. God is rearranging and shifting. And when God begins to rearrange, for a little while, everything will look out of place. The chairs will be moved. The furniture will be displaced. Things will be look a little chaotic. There will be some temporary seating where people don't belong. It can look worse before it gets better. but the person rearranging the room already has the finished picture in his mind. That's where some of you are right now. You are looking at your life and nothing makes sense. And God is saying, because I'm not finished rearranging, don't judge the room in the middle of the arrangement. Oh God, that wasn't good to y'all. I'm gonna say that again. Don't judge the room in the middle of the rearrangement. Don't make permanent decisions based off of temporary disorder. Don't assume God has abandoned the plan because you cannot recognize the current configuration. The designer knows where everything belongs. So I prophetically declare God is bringing order to what was left chaotic. He's bringing clarity to what has left you confused. He's bringing alignment to what was felt scattered. He's bringing purpose out of what felt painful. He's bringing strategy out of what felt uncertain. And you're about to discover the shift was not sent to destroy you. The shift was necessary to position you. Some people had to move. Some doors had to close. Some plans had to change. Some expectations had to die. Some habits had to break. And some versions of you had to be retired. Because where God is taking you requires an aligned version of you that had to move. So today, your word is pivot. When God changes direction, pivot. When God closed the door, pivot. Somebody put, it's time for me to pivot in the comment section. Your old strategy stops producing, pivot. Your spirit knows the season is changed, pivot. When God tells you to release and stop holding, pivot. When God stretches you beyond your capacity, pivot. When the familiar becomes uncomfortable, pivot. Stop interpreting every change as warfare. Can I help you? Stop interpreting every change as warfare. We got to stop that. Sometimes it's just alignment. Stop interpreting every ending as a loss. Tell somebody some losses are liberation. Oh God, Kiana, did you hear me? Sometimes some losses are liberation. Stop interpreting every closed door as rejection. Sometimes it's protection. Stop interpreting every disruption as destruction. Sometimes it's divine repositioning. God is rearranging your life because he is aligning you for what's next. And you cannot keep asking for new, fighting to preserve the old. You cannot ask God for expansion, trying to resist stretching. You cannot ask God for realignment while refusing adjustment. You cannot ask God to order your steps and then become angry when he starts changing the direction. What in the name of God? So today, release your grip, men and women of God. Open your hands. Trust the leadership of the Father. Follow his instructions. God is shifting you. Pivot and release yourself and say, God, if you're shifting me, I'm going. God, if you're shifting me, I'm going. I'm going to pivot and move. 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 I am. I will no longer fear what's changing. I will no longer chase what you're releasing. I will not rebuild what you're dismantling. Oh, God. I will not remain where you told me to remove. I will release expired season, outdated expectations, and old strategies. I will release the version of myself that cannot go into my next season. I have faith to move, and I have strength to pivot. Somebody put in the comment section, I have faith to move and strength to pivot. I have faith to move and strength to pivot. I have faith to move and strength to pivot. I have faith to move and strength to pivot. I have faith to move and strength to pivot. And so, listen, God is trying to make some shifts in you. It's time for you. I got faith to move and strength to pivot. I have faith to move and strength to pivot. I have faith to move and strength to pivot. I have faith to move and strength to pivot. And so listen, I hope that I said something that has strengthened you, empowered you, or helped you, something that pushed you or that would help you throughout the day, that will catapult you, that will give you enough push to keep moving throughout Just be careful what you label this season. God's trying to do some things in us, give us what we're praying for, but we got to endure the process and we got to endure well. I got faith to move and strength to pivot. And so I'll be praying for you. Listen, for those women that are on the line, if you are available on this Friday, right there, the Her Hour will be this Friday at 7 p.m. It is a free masterclass. You can go ahead and head on over to the metamorphherexperience.com. It does require registration, but it is free. It is the title of the session for this Friday is She Doesn't Live Here Anymore, as we continue to emerge into who we are. Listen, I'm just here to share what God shared into me and to pour into you. And then listen, as we continue to prepare, if you've been seeing it all over my page, the Metamorph Her Experience, the Emergence, yes, is coming May of 2027. Registration is going. The women are registering. They are getting in the room. You can head right over to the Metamorph Her Experience and you can register there as well. Listen, I need all the sisters. Grab your sister girls, your cousins, your aunts, your your cousins, your neighbors. Grab your tribes and everything and meet us in the room. Our amazing speakers are going to be there to pour into us. But then we're going to have this amazing panel that's going to have some real life conversation about how did I get here? How did I emerge for real? What is the real life journey of how I got here? Listen, there are payment plans available. I do understand that for some of us, it is a journey. So payment plans are available. If you do reach out to me, I can set up something for you. I want to make sure that every woman has an opportunity to get in the room. But listen, most of all, I just want to ensure that each and every one of you have an opportunity to experience what God has for you. And so I thank you for hanging out with me. Again, if you haven't already done so, like and share this. Somebody else that may be going through rearrangement in their life may need this word. Share it with them so that they may be strengthened. And guess what? Join me back here right next week, right back here, Tuesday at 1 p.m. as we will share in whatever the Lord gives to us to share. Because I believe the Father is giving us strategic instructions on how to navigate the spaces that we are in now. It's my pleasure, LaTanya. I love each and every one of you, and I will see you back here, right here, next Tuesday at 1 p.m. for Lunchtime Empowerment Talks with Dr. Vaughn. Love you all. Have an amazing day.